Hello. We're going to talk a little bit about how to put together your Sorry, I was looking at my microphone to see if it was recording. Is it? I think so. We'll find out together. How to put together your PDF for 141. If you are wondering what, if you go to the website right here, go to class resources. Scroll down a little bit, and there is that journal sketchbook project. If you looked at that yesterday, maybe the dates were slightly different. But mystery. You need to, I'm just going to click on this and pop it out. Take that sketchbook that you've been keeping assiduously this entire semester, and you are going to make images of 40 of those pages, put them into a PDF, and turn that in by the end of day next Monday, let's say, 5 o'clock, something like that. That will give us a chance to look at them between Monday and our class. Don't turn them in next Tuesday. Don't turn them in Wednesday morning. All of those are wrong and bad, and you will fail. So you got to make a PDF of 40 pages, right? If I scroll down here, right, it says deliverables, PDF, 40 pages, and a high quality JPEG of one either page or spread that you particularly like. What's a spread? Okay, well, we know what a page is, right? Maybe, hopefully. So a page is one of these things. Let's say this over here is a page, right? Right there, that's a page. And a spread is two, right? So when you open up a book and it spreads open, both of those two pages taken together, that's a spread. If you're like, oh, I have this set of pages that face each other that I've got like a drawing going across or something like kind of cool and interesting, you can turn that in as your 3000 pixels on the long side thing. How to do all of this? Well, the first thing you got to do is make images of your pages. How are you going to do that? Well, you can do it one of two ways. One, you can simply photograph the pages one after the other, or you can go in and scan them. Scanning them, you can do that in the library. They have flatbed scanners. They have like normal 8.5 by 11 scanners. They have larger 12 by 18 scanners if your sketchbook's a little bigger. That is going to be the most high quality way to do this. You can scan it at like 240 pixels per inch. That will be more than adequate at its regular size for what we are doing. It's nice because it gets it really flat, doesn't have any reflections, any of that stuff. If you have a book that is super big and won't fit on a scanner for some reason, photographing it is your only option. Photographing it is harder, right, because it's not going to lay perfectly flat. You may end up having your fingers in there kind of holding it down. But that's the other option. If you do photograph it, right, A, make sure it's all the same white balance of lighting. I don't want like blue and orange and garbage in there. B, use a real camera. That would be nice. We're photography majors. C, right, get your white balance right. That would also be nice. And we'll look a little bit at how to correct the sort of angleness that you may get from shooting it. The last thing is lighting it, right? In addition to white balance, you would want to have, if I'm sitting here with the book in front of me on a table, nice and flat, you would want to have your lights in front of you, right, coming down onto it so that you don't get your own shadow on the book, right? That looks stupid. Ideally, you can get two lights, right, one over here, coming down onto it. That way you do not get glare, right? If I have one light right overhead, right, or right in front of me, I'm going to get the reflection of that light on my page if it's shiny. If it's not shiny, probably isn't. You don't have to worry as much about that. But again, having one light over here, that is your ideal way to avoid that glare. So avoid glare, avoid shadows. Scanner takes care of both of those things. If you don't use a scanner, just be a photographer. Don't just like, I don't know, be one of those other majors that does not photograph things. Okay, so once you have gotten all of those images, what you're going to do with them. I have brought mine here into Lightroom. I am not using, obviously, a sketchbook. I'm using just pages out of a book that I photographed. So here they are. They are not the most amazing thing. They're a little cattywampus, right? Because the light wasn't great. How can we solve that? Well, you can go here into the Develop module inside of Lightroom, and you can come in and go down here to Transform, right? You can try doing it automatically if I hit full, right? That does a pretty good job. It sort of recognizes the rectangular shape of the page, and then once I've done that, I can, hit crop, and crop in to those edges. If you try that, again, that was Develop module, Transform, and I hit full. If you try that and it doesn't work all that well, I'll reset that. I can come in here and choose this little guy right here, and I can say, hey, these are the edges of my page. Make them horizontal and vertical, and it will go ahead and fix that for you. That is the most precise, most accurate way to do it. And then you can go ahead again and just crop in to the boundaries of the page, right? Boom, perfect. So you want to do that for all of your pages, right? You're like, oh, that's a pain in the butt. You know, hey, sorry. It's not that much of a pain in the butt, so get over it. So now we've got all of these pages, right? We will assume that we have gone through and made them all nicely straightened out. There are, again, two things that we need, right? We need a PDF of 40 pages, and then we need our single JPEG of that either page or spread that we're like, I love this. So I'm going to come over here to the spread that I've chosen, right? That's okay. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing to straighten it out. All right, you notice the white balance on this is not great. I should probably go ahead and fix that. You can go ahead and fix that on yours. In most cases, we are working with a fairly white paper tone. If you hit W on the keyboard for white balance, I'm here in the Develop tab, it gives me this little eyedropper, and I just clicked on the white of the paper, and it set that as a neutral, right? Pretty basic, should work fairly well. Now you'll see in this that because I did not use a scanner, right, I have one side is sort of puffing up, and I have my finger in there holding it down, right? Not great. This is why using a scanner is kind of awesome. But, right, if you can't, this is one way to do it. Just try to, again, hold it flat to the degree possible. Be conscientious about where your fingers are, what they're covering up. If you need to get a little bit more of the area around your book so that we can see the whole page, right, because as it's puffing up, right, it's cutting off that part. If I come up here like that so I can see the whole page, then I also get some of the table. If what's important or what's in the book is important for us to see, then go ahead and show us the table. That's fine. All right, so I've now got this singular spread, or doubler spread, I don't know. I've got a spread, and then I also have all of these pages, right, which we are pretending I have gone through and corrected so that they are nice and straight and not cattywampus. So the two things we need to do, we need to export that JPEG for either the single page or the spread, then we need to make the PDF. I'm going to go ahead and do the spread first, so I'm going to select that. I'm going to go to the Library tab. I'm going to come down here to Export, right? Hit Export. Basic things you need to remember, where is it exporting to? I'm going to go to the desktop, and I'm going to put it in a subfolder that I'm going to call PH141 Final Sketchbook. Final Sketchbook, sure. Am I going to rename it? I am, and to know what I'm going to rename it, I'm going to go right back to that website that we have, look at it, and see last name, first name, final spread.jpg. Okay, that seems like a reasonable thing to name it. So, rename to custom name, last name, first name. See, I've already forgotten. Final spread. Okay, last name, first name, final spread, JPEG, yes, quality, oh, I don't know, 100%, why not? Color space, sRGB, sure. And then here we go, resize to fit, long edge, 3000 pixels. Not 3000 pixels per inch, 3000 pixels. That's what you need, resize to fit, long edge, 3000 pixels. All that is good. Sharpening, sure, fine, why not? And you can go ahead and double check one more time where it's going. Desktop, some kind of folder, getting named, hit export. Awesome. Now the next thing that we need to do is export that PDF of all of those pages. Now I only have 19 pages in here, so if I turn this in, I would fail the class, right? They're also not cropped and adjusted and everything, so also I would fail the class. But it doesn't matter because I'm not actually enrolled, don't tell anyone. So assuming that I had my full 40 pages, assuming that I had corrected them as you now know how to do, what we're going to do, I'm just going to go ahead and select all of those pages. Right? I'm here in the library mode. I've hit G for grid view to be able to see all of them. I've selected all of those and nothing else. Right? If I have some other random files in here, I'm not going to grab those. And then I'm going to come up here to the top and I'm going to go to print. So I'm going to go to the print module. All right. Now, print module is not a bad place to be. It has a bunch of things over here. You may not have used the print module before. So if all of this looks weird, I'm going to run through it very quickly. Another option for doing this, I'll go through that in a sec. You can export a bunch of JPEGs and then bring them into Adobe Acrobat, create a PDF that way. I'm going to go through this just because we're already in Lightroom and it's right here. So print, single image contact sheet, right? I'm going to leave all this stuff empty. I don't want to zoom to fit. And if you have a horizontal oriented book, you probably want to go into page setup over here and change it so that your page setup is also horizontal. Make sure that you have the right size paper, right? That's also here in page setup, right? Some random printer, US letter, yes. Vertical rather than horizontal, yes. And then I'm going to come down here through all of this stuff. Margins, I don't know, that seems fine. Cell size, well, I probably want it as big as I possibly can get it, right? That also makes sense. Page grid, right? One image per page, fine. Roll through all this stuff, uncheck anything that's here, uncheck this, uncheck that. Photo info, uncheck that, don't need it. and keep coming down. All right, print resolution, 240 or 300, that's fine. Print sharpening low, that's fine. Color management, all right, let's check that. It's our only option. And then I'm going to come down here and hit printer. Not print, but printer. Once we do that, pops up dialog box, and we have this handy little thing right here that says PDF, save as PDF, yes please. I'm going to go to that same place that I just output that JPEG, and I'm going to save my PDF there. I'm going to check my assignment description to see what I should call it, because again, I don't really remember things. Last name, first name, final book.pdf. Okay, I probably remember that. Save as. Last name, first name, final book.pdf. Right, it's going right there. That's cool. Now, as I'm about to do this, one thing that has occurred to me, I have selected all of my files, right? I'm going to hit cancel right now. If I only have one of them selected, it will generate a PDF with only one page. That's not great. So I want to make sure that I have not just the first one, but Command A, all of them selected before I go down here to printer, PDF, save as PDF, last name, first name. Oh man, I forgot already. Jesus. Final book? That sounds right. Final book. Cool. All right. And go ahead and hit save, and it will export it as a PDF. If that process too much, don't like it, you can also simply export a bunch of JPEGs and combine them into a PDF in Adobe Acrobat. I will show you how to do that next. So I'm going to take these same images. I'm going to go back to my library tab. I'm going to select all of these pages. Again, they should be corrected and cropped and straightened and all of that. I'm going to say to export them. Again, these are things you should be able to do. I'm going to put it in a folder called Final Sketchbook Pages, just so I can keep track of where it is. All right, in this case, do I wish to rename them? Well, I need to remember what page is what, so I'm going to just borrow Lightroom's default naming template to custom name sequence. Sketchbook Pages, start number 1, sure. JPEG, sRGB, 100, image sizing, resize to fit. I'll keep the same 3000 pixels. And I will go ahead and make sure I have all of them selected, and I will hit export. Now, as it exports those 19 files, I can go get a sandwich, I can go for a small jog, whatever it is you do. Once you have finished exporting them, come back and we will bring them into Adobe Acrobat. So those have now finished exporting. I'm going to quit out of Lightroom. Do I really want to quit? I think I do. And I'm going to come down here and open up Adobe Acrobat. Adobe Acrobat Pro DC is a kind of unwieldy program, which is why I would normally use Lightroom to make this PDF. But right, it is a little bit helpful. I here have, there's like home, right? What is that? I don't know. That looks like a nightmare. I'm going to go here to tools. And under tools, there's a nice thing here that says create PDF. And then there's another one here that is combine files. So I'm not sure what both of those things do, but combine files, that seems like what I want. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. It says add files by clicking the button, or drag and drop. I'm going to add files by clicking on that button. Oh, Final Sketchbook Pages. Yes, please. I'm going to click this so they're sorted by name. Command A, select all, add files. And you'll see it populates this thing with all of our files. We can go ahead, I'm going to come up here and let's check options. I don't know what they are. Yeah, fine, sure, whatever. And I'm going to hit combine. Does some mysterious shit. Don't know what it is. And presumably it will end up generating a PDF. This is taking a long time, so I'm going to use the magic of video editing to come back when it's done. Hey, there we go. Great. So now it has put these together in a PDF, and I'm going to go up here and say save as. You know, cloud, don't save shit in the cloud. Where is it, right? No one knows. It's not helpful. I'm going to save it on my computer. I'm going to choose a different folder because this interface is just garbage. Here's a nice normal interface. And again, go to my desktop where I was putting this stuff. Final Sketchbook, right? There was that Farwell Brad final book. Just so that I don't overwrite them, I will put the same title but via Acrobat and hit save. Perfect, saves the file. I'm going to quit out of Adobe Pro DC blah blah blah. Depending on what version you have, the interface there may be a little different. Again, that's why I generally use Lightroom. Okay, so I'm going to come up here. I'm going to go to my desktop. Go there into Final Sketchbook. There is the spreads, JPEG, 3000 pixels on the long side, looks fantastic. And then the book, right, there it is. PDF, again, this page is screwy and not nice and cropped and everything. Your pages should look like this one. And then the same thing via Acrobat. It looks essentially identical. So there you go. Go ahead, make those guys. Make sure that you get them in on time by 5 o'clock on Monday. If you are wondering about what you need to do, right, we have this lovely little description here. You get to that via the class website, class resources, right? There it is. Journal Sketchbook project. Pop it out. Why not? And if you have any questions, go ahead and reach out and we will try to answer them as best we can.